I think too much capacity in orbit. You see that in some of the regions of the world. You've got some issues in Africa right now with a lot of, I understand, C-band on the market. But we've seen that around the world in years gone past. Latin America 10 years ago was in vast oversupply, and now it's one of the hottest satellite regions in the world. There's a lot of demand for take-up of spectrum. The market we're focusing on is a very needy focused geography for more spectrum. People want that low cost of deployment for more and more capacity for high bandwidth applications. So we're not seeing that as an issue at this point.
Well, from a pricing standpoint, I want to see the way it, fiber-like as well. So if we can get it in that arena, then we're going to be very, very competitive for these media distribution platforms, backhaul platforms. To date, it's not that way. It just doesn't make sense that a satellite that's 20 or 30% loaded would be priced out the same way as a 90% loaded satellite, for example, in the same area. So
the legacy services won't go away. They were mainly also purpose-built, and ViaSat, we use those services, for instance, for our Global Yonder service in KU band, or we operate also in other bands like L band. What will change is
you find the HTS aims more at data services, internet connectivity, very, very high bandwidth. I just mentioned before to the aircraft, but I'm talking direct to home or direct to enterprises. So the dilemma is, how will the traditional satellites price? How can they justify higher prices for their data services as they can demand for their broadcast services?
As we talk to customers, one of the things that we really have learned is that high throughput has its place. There's some applications and networks where it is the absolute best tool. There's others where it's not. So if you're looking at Aero, for example, where you need the ability to broadcast TV as well as high throughput for IP connectivity, those are two very different requirements. And so we have to match, mix, really put things together in a hybrid solution to really drive, again, to the best value for our service providers so they can go out and offer the best. So,
well, it generally leads to a downward price on bandwidth, though there are exceptions. The interesting exceptions are, of course, maritime and aeronautical services, where mobility can only be served by satellite. So that's more like fish in a barrel, where there aren't so many alternatives about where that goes until there's oversupply of capacity in that narrow segment. But in markets like contribution or ViaSat, where there are domestic alternatives, you have to be more competitive. And again, that's where the more efficient use of space segment is very important to stay relevant.
This would be a simple supply and demand question. But the demand is changing, and some of the satellite operators are putting in place high throughput satellite services in areas where they have had greater demand than in others. So they're trying to match the requirements of the market.
Well, with the so much capacity going, obviously that's going to result in a reduction of the space segment costs. Today we see that space segment is a major operational cost for the service providers. Now we'll be able to get the much lower cost, which will benefit everyone in the long run. So even although high throughput satellites were initially targeting more of the consumers, I don't see any reason why enterprises wouldn't be able to take advantage of the technology as well. So it'll give us a much wider market share.
You might see a dip potentially in the cost per bit. You might see a dip maybe in some of the overall costs on a short-term basis because of an oversupply or additional capacity out there. But what we've tended to do in this industry, generally speaking, not just ASC Signal, but generally speaking, is find applications that utilize that capacity, utilize the technology that we have. And if you think through where we were 20 years ago to where we are today, you'll see that we've absorbed all of the available capacity. We've absorbed all of the available technology. We've enhanced that technology, and we're jamming through far more information now than we ever could have conceived of back then.
Well, I think it's a tough call at the moment for satellite operators because there's a lot of space segment going up there, which is having an impact on the rate card. And it's a bit like building highways. The more highways you build, the more cars it attracts. I expect that capacity that comes on stream to be more and more deployed to offer wider and wider choice and to actually offer Ultra HD and 4K channels, which do demand more bandwidth than the existing HD or SD channels at the moment.
We are very proud of our business, people and customers. Our unique infrastructure has been built specifically to deliver a high caliber of service to a world-class set of customers. Our global head office is strategically located north of Stuttgart in Backnang, Germany. Our technical center and teleport benefits from access to uninterruptible power supplies, high-capacity fiber transmission routes, and highly skilled personnel. Pride of ownership characterizes our technical center at Leuk. With the only commercial teleport and technical centre in Switzerland, we are positioned to support the very unique challenges of our international clients with global network needs. Our Swiss location was chosen for its superior view of the satellite orbital arc, its superior weather conditions, and its ability to expand with little capital expenditure. High in the mountains of Switzerland, Signalhorn's unique, secure and resilient technical centre provides a platform from which to deliver first-class service to its customers. Signalhorn Trusted Networks.